this world has gone insane. It is absolutely no secret. But tonight, Saturday night, you are about to experience the true measures of what that insanity can bring you. Tonight, you are about to see Ball and Bonkers, the one-of-a-kind show that delves deep into the world with no holds barred. Now, meet your hosts, Dakota Frandsen, specialist of the strange, and Christopher Mule, the UFO fanatic. Now, give it up, and let's see what these two idiots can bring you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Saturday night. It's upon us again. We're sorry we're a wee bit late. We've been having awful problems. And I would just like to say to Mike, the Naked Bigfoot in the chat, it's okay, man. It was weird. Don't worry about it. We'll get it fixed and we'll get you back on one night.
We're trying to figure something out there, Mike. But thought it was kind of funny. I swore I heard voices trying to come through on Mike's end.
Yep, so did I. And honestly, whoever's listening to this in the podcast, Mike, there was voices coming for you. I don't know if there's something there that's not wanting you to speak. It's weird because we could hear you perfectly fine. We could see you perfectly fine. But me and Dakota sounded like Cylons. And you couldn't understand us.
I mean, look, he's saying it right here. Obviously that he's annoyed and trying to apologize. Like we said, don't worry about it, Mike. Shit happens. But see, there's the weird part about it. He's hearing everything else just fine.
Yeah.
He's hearing us fine just now, but not when he comes in.
I mean, you can try and join us again, Mike. You can try and join us again, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Get what I'm saying? I just don't know. I mean, I was kind of really frustrated because Mike's kind of the go-to guy for the cryptid side of stuff, Bigfoot and all the strange creatures.
About that, but yeah.
What's that, Mike? You guys froze up and went Cylon.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. Well, I would say I was the most handsome Cylon out of the lot, you know.
Maybe for the older woman.
That guys, you got to love Dakota here. So, guys, what do you think, guys? What do you think of the Balding Bonker?
Chris, don't show him your boot. I'm just kidding.
Hey, well, you know, some people get turned on with that kind of stuff, man. You know, look at that Balding Bonkers now, guys. We're all going professional. You see, you know, there's Mike. Mike, that word should be loud. Mike should be able to use that every day, all the time. You know.
Yeah, the good old fire truck.
Yep. What's that?
Oh God, Mike. You know, if we ever figure out the audio issues, we got to pair up Mike with your brother Drew. There, Chris.
Oh my God! That honestly, I'm going to give a shout out. I need to give my brother a shout out. Drew is his name. Honestly, we should do a live recording one night with Drew. I mean, what do you think of Drew, Dakota? What's your honest thoughts?
Crazy clearly runs in the family.
Yes. What do you think of my other American friend? His name's John. What do you think of him?
Is he stoned 90% of the time?
See, guys, this is the crazy show. This is the crazy show of Balding Bonkers. I mean, that's why we're called Balding Bonkers, you know. But we've got a special show lined up for tomorrow, which I think's going to be amazing. You know?
Actually, yes. So now we can actually segue, so people just don't start thinking we're talking shit because we don't have anything planned. Oh, Johnny Blogs, I think that's a new one.
That's a new subscriber. Welcome, Johnny Blogs,
Hello.
to the Balding Bonkers Network.
For those of you that are joining us or who just may be out of the loop because you don't pay attention, Tomorrow, we have Dr. Jeff Meldrum from Idaho State University coming on board.
And that laugh's not today with that. It's today with my brother that's in here. Drew Mole. Sounds like a small
small hotel next to the sea. I think so. Anyway, as we said, Dr. Meldrum, he's actually the professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University. He's also referred to as the Bigfoot professor. If you've seen any Sasquatch themed shows on like History Channel, Travel Channel, he was even on Ancient Aliens at one point. Chances are you've seen this guy because he is pretty much the media's go-to expert when it comes to Sasquatch. And tomorrow, he's going to be joining us.
What's that there? Johnny Blogs. Chris, any word of Doom Show? Honestly, I don't know what's happened to him. I can't really speculate. I don't know what's happened to Doom Show. My opinion, I think the rumours might be true, but I'm not saying it live on air. I think the rumours might be true. But as soon as I hear back from the family, I'll put out a wee statement. I'll do a wee video on that. But hopefully that hasn't happened to him. But
Yeah.
Dakota, I interrupted you there.
Yeah. Anyway, people paying attention to the content of the show. So we thought, as kind of an interesting prelude to tomorrow's show, we start digging into cryptids because that's not exactly something we got into on this show. And it is such a wide field.
Had to cough there, so I thought I'd mute the mic, Don't want death in my co-host. But yeah, I mean, the cryptids, we've never really done a kind of cryptids kind of show on Bald and Bonkers.
Exactly.
I mean, there's that many cryptids. I mean, there's Bigfoot, there's Squad. I mean, there's what would you say was the most strangest creature? That's why I was wanting. That's why I was wanting Mike the Naked Bigfoot on tonight, because he's an expert on this subject, and his knowledge is absolutely amazing. If you haven't checked his channel out, please go and check his channel out. Brilliant. But Dakota, what do you actually? Let's talk about Bigfoot here. What do you actually think Bigfoot is? In your opinion, what do you think it is? Where do you think it comes from?
It is definitely some kind of ape.
Yeah,
that's no doubt. As for where it comes from, I don't want to speculate too much that it may be an alien species, but
yeah,
you got to admit it's awfully damn elusive for being what's essentially a 7 foot, 8 foot tall fucking gorilla.
Right. That's the bit I can't get, right? This is honestly, I mean, I'm into the UFOs, I'm into spirits, I'm into all this kind of stuff, right? UFOs, you see them quite a lot, you see spirits, you see all these things. How, for so long, has Bigfoot kept hidden? Yes, I know there's been sightings, but let's face it, not one has ever turned up really dead, has it? Really? Has it?
Well, there's the thing. There are reports of Sasquatch getting shot, of potential bodies. There's one guy out there that claims that his great grandfather killed one, and they've kept his body in the freezer for all these years.
Yeah, you think they would show it that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the discovery of the fucking lifetime. But the thing is with cryptids, a lot of people assume that there's still a mystical side. And yes, a lot of these reports have mystical qualities.
Oh, yeah.
But in itself, it's just a study of hidden animals, a study of animals that either are considered mythological, yet cited, or sometimes the animals themselves are thought to have been extinct, but turns out they're still around, just in very small numbers.
I can see your point there, because there was actually a place in South America, and you know how you've got the giant sinkholes. This is nothing to do with cryptids, but it's the same kind of idea. See how you've got the giant sinkholes? The scientists went down into these sinkholes, right? And there was a rare type, I can't remember what it was. It was a rare type of insect that they thought had been extinct for thousands of years. And it was in there. So it makes you wonder, in the darkest parts of the jungles and the darkest parts of the forest where no humans really roam, it makes you wonder, what is there.
I mean, think about it. Off the coast of South Africa, there was a fish that was thought to have been extinct for millions of years, caught by fishermen nets.
That's right.
And plus, there's new discoveries being made about different types of animals never before cataloged before, happening all the time. The orangutan was once considered part of cryptozoology.
Right.
It's considered the red men of the forest. The okapi, which is animal that has like the head of giraffe, the body of a horse, legs of a zebra, a very shy animal.
Yeah. I mean, there's birds that's just been discovered that they thought they'd been extinct. Yeah, I mean, I think eventually people will catch a Bigfoot. Eventually it will happen. But then it makes you wonder, are the government, what's the US National Park Service? I think they know something, and I think that's why the National Park Service was created, to keep these little beasties hidden away. What's your thoughts on that?
That is actually a well-known conspiracy. Theodore Roosevelt, as avid as an outdoorsman he was the one that founded the National Park Service.
Yes.
And allegedly it is so that they could designate areas where they knew creatures like this were believed to roam frequently and keep these areas off limits from humans.
Let's Roosevelt, right? He was quite a strange guy because it wasn't just the national parks, and he done that Cursey Oak Island. He actually was there. He was there anyway. Yeah.
All things considered, with Teddy Roosevelt, a lot of people wouldn't realize that he would essentially be a paranormal researcher if he were alive today. He'd be one of us.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
he actually got off his ass and went looking.
Wait, I mean, hey, Drew's paranormal vlog in the chat. Roosevelt was no just into that. I mean, he was also a Masonic Mason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which quite a high up, like a 33-degree or whatever. But it's not just that. He went to the pyramids. This guy has been everywhere, and I honestly think that the National Park Service have covered up events to do with Bigfoot. Honestly, I think they've covered it up. I mean, there's I'll just say this really quickly. When you talk about that missing 411, you know who I'm talking about, David Politis. He tried to get the national park records, right? And he went to them, and they would turn around and say, "Sure, for $10 million, you can have them." I mean, $10 million. Not everybody's, So basically, they're making it harder and harder every time he goes to get the documents. Because I think a lot of these disappearances of people have got something to do, not just with the strange layout of the land, but I think it's got a lot to do with these Bigfoot.
Well, perhaps.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to maintain muscle mass like that, you got to eat meat.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what's that, Drumo? What's that? Sorry, exploding. What's that? He's waiting to put there, ladies and gentlemen, the podcast world.
He put a comment about the Bermuda Triangle earlier.
Yeah, that is a true fact. The Bermuda Triangle, jumping off segment really quickly. Yes, there is gas. There's a lot of oil in the Bermuda Triangle, and there's a natural gas. But jumping back to Bigfoot, I mean, it just makes your skin crawl. It makes you wonder what is actually out there in the woods right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota, can you maybe tell us a wee bit about what you know about the famous Bigfoot?
Well, for those of you on the podcast, this is why you really should be coming to the live shows. Yep. Because from what I'm about to show you.
Yeah.
This was actually a cast I was able to collect for my very first Bigfoot hunt. Now, that is my foot next to it. I was wearing about a size 14 US men's.
Wow. 14?
Just to give you an idea of how big this thing was.
In fact, I would say I've seen them on like YouTube and stuff like that, where people have taken casts, and they're actually sometimes bigger than that.
Oh yeah, this one was relatively small. My theory was at the time it was a female,
Right.
based on what happened that particular night. Now, you can go on to YouTube. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was out of North Carolina, if I remember correctly. I've told this story before, where this retired forensics investigator, he hunts Bigfoot in his retirement because he has a good set of woods where there was a lot of activity. Well, he puts out thermal trap cameras, he sends out bait, tries to get images of this thing. Well, one day he ran out of his usual bait, which was like jerky sticks, meat patties, vegetables. One day he ran out and decided, oh, what the heck, I'm going to put out a chocolate bar. He puts it out the chocolate bar in the view of this thermal imaging camera, walks away.
Right.
Within the hour, all of a sudden, you see this large shape just slowly creeping to where he had the chocolate bar set out.
Right.
It had awfully long limbs to be some guy in a ghillie suit. The thermal signature from it was solid. Because if it was a ghillie suit, there would be kind of blotches in the heat signature.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was a solid figure.
I mean, I have heard that, Dakota, that a lot of these Bigfoot hunters have used like candy bars to lure them out. They have got a thing for like Reese's Pieces.
No, they got a thing for chocolate. That's what I use to collect the cast.
Yeah, I mean,
I
let's
used it
face
myself, and it worked.
If you were walking through the woods and you were Bigfoot and you looked over and there was sitting a carrot, you'd be like, oh, it's just a carrot. But then you were walking along and you see a Hershey's bar sitting, you would go for it, wouldn't you? I mean, let's face it, 90% of the people in the chat,
they get the taste for chocolate.
people giving them over the years.
Well, now indigenous tribes have been known to give offerings to these things. Mike the Naked Bigfoot, he has an awesome story where his place gets attacked because a certain tree that grows certain kind of apples, he cut it down, and the Sasquatch that lived on the premises didn't exactly like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I wanted Mike the Naked Bigfoot coming in here tonight, guys, because this guy, he knows his stuff. I mean, especially the Bigfoot stuff. And he has told stories about that, so go and check his channel out again. I'm plugging his channel here, we're getting past 100 subscribers. But here's an interesting fact. I was actually listening to Coast to Coast AM, and this guy was on, this is 6 months ago, and it was a trucker, and late night truckers, and how they see them at night when they're driving through the mountains. And one of the truckers actually slowed right down, and he put all his lights on, and there it was like standing looking at him right in the middle of the road, and this thing was tall. But it makes you wonder how many of these things have been ran over. But that's the thing, right? See if these things are run over, right? And then the person goes away to get like the law come out, and then the body's disappeared. What is it now? What is it?
Dude, you're talking about an 8-foot tall fucking gorilla. If it gets run over, it's the car that's going to get fucked up.
No. I'm talking about, like, for instance, because this has happened. This has happened. A logging truck. You know what those things are like, right?
That was a report here in Idaho.
Yeah.
It got up and walked away. It was a little dazed, probably got a bruise, but that's about it.
Yeah, but some of them have been killed.
Firepower it takes to knock these things out.
But no, right. But see, here's like where they have been reported dead, right? Why is it when they come back to the scene, maybe like half an hour later, the body's gone? Say it's dead, they know it's dead, but why does it just disappear? Do the other Bigfoot take it and bury it somewhere or something?
Actually, there's a gentleman I used to talk to a while ago. His name is Chris Allen. He did a show called Monster Theater back in the day. Mind you, this was back when I was like 14, 15 years old, so a little over a decade. I was listening to an interview with him, and he said that he fully believes that Sasquatch bury their dead, which is actually a known practice with apes.
Yes. I've heard that.
And it's like, here's a remark that Scottish Outlooker says decompose in a matter of seconds. It'd have to be pretty hot for that to go that far. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it'd be like 20,000 Fahrenheit or something like that. You know, it's. I just think there's a lot more going on. I do think the governments of the world, especially America, have been covering this up. But it makes you, why would they cover this up? Why would they? I mean, it's a new species. Why would they cover it up? Think about it. Yeah, say it was public, right? Yeah, it was public. They would bring out a law saying you're not allowed to hunt them, you're not allowed to go near them. Basically, like gorillas and stuff like that, you wouldn't go allowed near them. Why do they not just do that? Is there something more to do with these? Are they highly intelligent? That's what makes me wonder.
They are.
Yeah.
They can learn human language. They can talk to us one-on-one if they go to trust the individual. There's several reports of that happening all over the world. Where if they trust the individual, they'll actually try to talk one-on-one.
So I wonder if
has reports of them speaking telepathically.
See, it makes you wonder then, were these before humans come along, were these the original inhabitants of like Earth? It makes you wonder, because you think, right, say it right, let's take this, right. You imagine Bigfoot is highly intelligent. It can speak and it can build stuff, right? Why do they not have like a civilization like we've got? Or do they? But you just can't see it.
Well, here's where the conspiracy theories and the fantasticals like to possibly consider the Hollow Earth theory.
Yes.
Because a lot of sightings, mind you, there is some backing to this. Not necessarily Hollow Earth, but the fact that a majority of sightings, if there is also known cave systems in the area, it is believed they actually travel through cave systems. Try to stay out of the public eye because they realize there's this one story. It was more towards the East Coast where this family, they lived in the mountains. They put food boxes out in the winter for the animals. Now, because they've been doing this for years, this one guy, he was out alone, got caught up by himself, and all of a sudden got approached by a Sasquatch who spoke near perfect English. He claims that because his family has been so kind to the animals, they decided to try to trust him. And he's told them that the reason why they hide is because they have been around. They used to interact directly with indigenous tribes here in North America. But when the white settlers came, they became violent and realized they were danger. So they went into hiding. They are highly intelligent creatures. And there was a couple remarks, like Drew's Paranormal blog, saying, you know, how did they know we haven't caught one yet? The thing is, these things are fucking strong.
Yeah.
A gorilla can easily kill someone by smacking them. What can you imagine what an 8-foot tall gorilla could do?
Yeah. An intelligent one. An intelligent one.
Because orangutans, they're some of the hardest animals, just as an example, they're some of the hardest animals to keep in zoos because they figure out how to break out all the damn time.
See, I definitely think there is an extraterrestrial part to play in this. I think there is definitely an extraterrestrial part to play in this. And the reason being, some of them might not be that intelligent, some of them might be different types of Bigfoot, right? But I do think some of them maybe are something to do with the extraterrestrial, because the UFO sightings where these big feet are meant to be is off the scale in places. I definitely think it's either that or whoever's flying these UFOs are interested in the Bigfoot exact same as humans are.
Well, if you're going to be traveling to all sorts of planets, you're going to be curious about whatever life you come across.
Yeah. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder: is that why there's UFOs? Maybe they're in the woods looking for Bigfoot.
trying to catalog different species on different planets. Yeah, that could very well be it.
Yeah.
Same reason why we send scientific expeditions out to track wildlife.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to help preserve it. Maybe it's to study it. Who knows? Unless we ever figure out one-on-one way to talk about it. But of course, cryptozoology isn't just limited to Bigfoot.
Oh,
That
yeah.
may be one of the more popular topics out there. But there's so many different creatures out there that we don't know whether or not they may have actually exist.
Oh my God! I mean, you've got you've got the elemental spirits that are meant to be in the forests and the hills and stuff like that. But then you've got there's so many. I mean, why don't you give us an example, Dakota, for different ones?
I mean, well, then probably the second most popular one, Mr. Scotty.
Oh yes.
Oh,
I couldn't help
what's the
myself.
Loch Ness Monster? Now, naturally, Scotland, any body of water over in Scotland, for those of you who don't know, is said to have some sort of creature associated with it.
Right. Right.
See, there you go, Scottish native right there.
I've been to Loch Ness, and I'll tell you something to do. I've never seen a damn thing.
Well, unlike you, I have seen something and managed to get photos.
Right. Show them to the wait. There it's there. It's Nessie.
This was here's a little bragging right here. Yes, I'm bragging a little bit, but my report actually hit international news. But here's one of the photos I managed to take where I saw this thing swimming around. And I was actually standing at Urquhart Castle, where a majority of the sightings, for some odd reason, are said to take place. Here's another shot that was taken moments later.
I mean, that's quite big if you think about it, because you're probably, 500 yards away, 600 yards away?
Roughly. I mean, this thing, it was good 40, 50 feet minimum, and there was more than one.
See, a lot that you'll get these people that will be saying, it's just a type of fish in the water. Look, Loch Ness Loch Ness, yes, it is connected to the sea. Yes, Loch Ness is connected to the sea. And people will say, oh, it's a whale, it's a whale, it's a whale. I've heard that loads of times. You don't get whales. You don't get whales coming through locks and stuff like that. That it doesn't happen. Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean,
Drew, this was actually like 4 years ago, roughly. To answer your question, there, this was relatively recent. And when it comes to Loch Ness in particular, I think the case has been debunked on what it is. Honestly,
what's your opinion on what it is then?
A big ass eel.
A big one. It's going to be big.
Well,
but do you think it's living quite a long time, considering the size of Loch Ness was? Yeah, it need to be some size. I mean, it'd be ridiculously big.
Eels can get up to 40, 50 feet, dude.
Right. Here's a question for you then. If that was the case, why has never anyone been attacked? Because I know eels.
2 known attacks.
Right.
One's been debunked. The other's too old to report.
Right. See, I honestly don't think it might not be an eel. I think it might be something else. Something you got to remember here. Yeah, there might be more than one, right? But I've got to be Scottish here, and I've got to keep up the fact that there is a monster in there. To help the tourism trade.
Okay. First off, if it's a 50-foot eel, that's a monster in itself. And that is a main staple of Scotland. That is one of the main reasons. That was the whole reason I went to Scotland, was because I heard that we can get to go to Loch Ness.
See, that's the thing. And I bet you want to go back there. So, guys, we'll be doing a documentary. Our next documentary will be just looking into Loch Ness. And Dakota will be getting out his wee rowing boat.
Here's the thing about it. There's, obviously, if you haven't been to Loch Ness, the ferry rides that you can take on there are equipped with sonar. And very rarely do they catch anything. That's why one of the theories that's been tossed around is that it can actually sense sonar like dolphins and whales can. And here,
Yes,
Drew
and
puts a comment here saying, yeah, a 50-foot eel, they can get that long, Drew. It can happen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. They've done DNA tests by collecting samples of water in Loch Ness at different depths, at different signatures. One of the main things they found was eels. And if there's no predation on these eels, and they can get a good food supply, which Loch Ness is big enough to supply with plenty of fish, and there's also a seal population, there's a lot of wildlife in that area that the eels can start snacking on.
That's very true. And you think about it today, there'll be a lot of fish in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
And there's actual video of big ass eels swimming around in the loch.
It just makes you wonder. I mean, I know some things have been faked over the years. Let's face it, they have faked it. Well, like big giant cardboard cut monsters and stuff like that, which doesn't help any. But that you must admit, Loch Ness has brought a lot of tourism in for Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the same as Yellowstone has brought a lot of tourism in for the United States because of the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes me wonder if the government know that they actually know what's in there.
Oh, you're going back to the government know this. The government know this. That is what it got to be one of the most laziest and overused excuses out there. Yes, governments of the world are shady as fuck. But what would be the point to try to capture if there was anything in Loch Ness? If they were to try to capture it and take it out of the water, who says that that is not the apex predator that keeps certain wildlife populations down and keeps from infestations from happening?
That's very true.
That's one of the trickier parts of this type of thing.
I'm going to say something.
Drain Loch Ness, can they?
Right. I know someone. Right, I'm not telling you who he is because he's dead now, but he told me a story about Loch Ness once.
Okay.
It was this is going back to the 1940s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you didn't know this, but in Loch Ness they used it as a training facility for divers. You know, they would go out and they would put like bombs on the side of the ships and sink them, right? And one of his friends was out doing a training mission, right? And he was down for ages. I mean, he was quite deep, like, and they had to actually pull him up. And when they pulled him up, they took the helmet off him because you notice it's like the divers and it was the stupid big male. His hair had went from black to grey.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused point blank to go back into the water again. Later on, maybe when he was in his 70s, 80s, he told the story about he was down, and what they used to do is they used to deliberately drop like metal machinery down, and they'd to like take it apart and put it back together again under the water. And he was doing this, right? He was fiddling about, you know, and for a second he thought there was something behind him, right? And he turned round and he says that he's seen this thing, this big long thing coming straight for him, like it was weird looking, which makes me think when you talk about the eel, thinking about that's what he's seen coming for him. And he vowed never, ever again to go into the water, ever again after that. He even refused to go in ferries or anything. He was terrified.
Well, so, I was just going to say that it's a credible story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, eels can sometimes attack. There's at least one known attack. There's one of the very first reports of Loch Ness Monster in Loch Ness.
Yeah.
And the second one was essentially a speedboat accident where people speculated that, you know, some guy was testing out a speedboat that had never been built before on Loch Ness. He was zooming down, then all of a sudden the boat explodes and acts like it hits something.
Yes.
But what they figure is that the boat itself wasn't very sturdy, wasn't meant to take a punt. And what they figure is that the driver of the boat, slowed down just a little bit and hit a wave just right to where it caused the boat to crack. That's the second report. But as far as the dudes here in the story you just mentioned, that's actually a well-known medical condition where somebody can get so scared their hair turns white. That is well documented.
See, it's quite interesting because near Loch Ness, there's other lochs.
Mhm.
And these other lochs near Loch Ness have the same reportings. There's been
Mhm.
strange things seen. So they say under Loch Ness there's cave systems that run to the sea and connect with other lochs. So it makes you wonder, maybe when they're going up and down with their sonar, right? Maybe they're not there, maybe they're in another loch, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're moving about. I'm actually starting to think that the big giant seal eel thing is the kind of thing, you know that?
That's the most credible theory right now.
Yeah.
But
You have to
that's
put
also part of where a lot of people get ticked off is that it kills the fantasy for them when you explain it. But
Yeah.
if you want this study to be taken seriously,
It needs
you
to
got to
be.
be willing to accept it that the end result's going to get disappointing at some time.
Yes. I mean, good God. You think of the people that have spent millions trying to figure out what's in Loch Ness. Yes, it's a great thing. It's made the Scottish economy. It's helped the Scottish economy. But it's going to come a time when the technology, and let's face it, technology is getting better and better and better. Eventually, they'll be able to see what's in there.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
there's satellite images that capture something in there, but a lot of what's that?
I'm just reading a chat there. Stuart McDonald said, I believe that there's cedars and we've all planted, including everything on the earth. What's that?
We are the aliens. Yeah, that's one of the theories out there.
Yeah. Yeah. As
I
was
mean,
talking. What, when you go?
no, I was just going to say, just consider the variance of life on Earth. There is one particular animal that we know has DNA that does not come from this planet.
Fire away. What's that?
The octopus.
That's actually really interesting you say that.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird that because I was watching a thing about octopus tonight. That's strange. Yeah.
They have DNA that they're fairly certain what originally came off of a comet that is found nowhere else on Earth.
Did you know that a lot of people think this has got to be mad, but did you know that the octopus is a very, very intelligent species?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They've actually put it inside like a puzzle, and it's worked its way out. It's figured out the puzzle.
There's aquariums that have hard times keeping track of their octopi because they keep getting out.
Yes. There's actually a video about this. It was a fishing boat. I don't know where it was. And they'd hauled up their fish and there was an octopus and it was on the deck. And it slowly puts its suckers, it crawls along, and I kid you not, there's a hole that size, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this thing's huge. And I didn't know this, but seemingly octopuses can fit into the smallest spaces.
They have no bones, that's how.
Yeah. It took the octopus about 20 minutes, but it squeezed through this tiny little hole. And this big massive thing, absolutely amazing. What's that? The octopus has the same nerve cells as us. That's very Stuart McDonald. That's actually quite interesting. I did not know that.
Very similar neurological structure to us.
That's actually really interesting.
And I actually know the video you're talking about. That particular octopus was pissed.
I'd be pissed and all.
Oh no, it's coloration. They change color when they're mad. That is fact.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, if you were under the sea and you were an octopus and you were intelligent and you were aware, and all of a sudden a big net come along, grabs you and takes you up to the surface, it would kind of annoy you, you know?
I know there's a comedian that does like a joke for fishermen, for example. Do the fish that get caught and get tossed back tell the stories to their buddies?
Yeah.
Think about it. Like we talk, let's take alien abduction as an example.
Right.
You want to talk to your buddies about it, but chances are you're going to get made fun of until more recent discussions happen. Unless you happen to find a rare and beautiful thing, weird ass relationship like we've got.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I mean, if I was into the UFOs and something happened to me, I wouldn't tell anyone. Only other UFO abductees. Because let's face it, anybody that hears that think you're a raving lunatic.
I still question whether or not I've gone mad, even though I've captured crap I've been seeing on tape.
No, you've went mad because you became friends with me.
Yeah, I'll agree. You made it worse.
What do you think, guys in the chat? Do you think we're mad? I honestly think we are. That's why we're called bald and bonkers, you know. Even though I've still got like some hair left, you know. You can see it. It's just one hair.
I've got some hair left on on the sides.
If you grow that hair really long, you could comb it over, you know, like a wee comb over.
It just looks ugly. I look better bald.
What's that? Drew's paranormal. Cockroaches are the only thing that would survive a nuclear attack. Willie just told me. I googled it and it says right. Oh,
no, that's very true.
No.
Different kinds of cockroaches actually have different radiation survival levels.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, no. Can you imagine how scary the person that might have been that discovered that?
But cockroaches are notoriously hard to get rid of. Let's face it.
Yeah, one of the quickest ways to kill them is to bash them with a hammer.
For anyone that supports freedom of the supporting the cockroaches, please send an email with your complaints to Dakota here.
Oh God, PETA, you all over me.
I'm telling you, there was somebody the other day sitting with his t-shirt on, or a she sitting with her t-shirt on. It says "I love cockroaches." Now that you've said that, it's about right. That's it. That's it. I'm sending an email to that man, Dakota.
Don't get me wrong. Cockroaches are kind of fascinating to study because of their ability to survive. That's why they've been studied on so much, and especially why they kept trying to kill them. I mean, but this also goes to the point. We have so many people that try to say, "Oh, there's no way Bigfoot exists. Oh, no way Loch Ness exists." Yes, right now there may be the prevailing theory that Loch Ness is a big eel or a group of big eels. Yeah. But it also backs up the point that, yes, people are seeing something, but maybe we're not exactly sure what it is. And there's also that excuse of, oh, everybody has phones with cameras nowadays. Why aren't there more pictures? Why aren't there more?
That's the thing. There is. That's the thing. That's the thing. People don't. There is loads of pictures of UFOs because more people have got cameras, right? But then when people see a clear UFO, the first thing that they say is, "Oh, that's CGI." That's the first thing they say.
And I've been hearing some conspiracy circles trying to say like the situation in Ukraine, and by the way, you Putin supporters, off. I've noticed all of a sudden we have started some suspicious activity on our accounts ever since that person came in. So go fuck yourselves. Anyway, here's the thing. When it comes to the CGI claims, real life sucks in comparison to a true CGI artist.
Yeah.
You can make better CGI than what we have filmed ourselves.
Yeah.
For $100 and a teenager that won't get out of his bedroom.
Exactly. I mean, I've seen
something's still out there.
Yeah. I love the mystery of Bigfoot. I think it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating how and so long it's been. I mean, I was doing some research actually about Bigfoot and for our guest tomorrow. And I find the native Indians have quite a few interesting stories about the Bigfoot and how they used to like cohabit. They would stay away from the Indians would stay away from them, but sometimes Indians would leave food out for them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes Bigfoot would kind of like keep an eye on them. It would basically look after them. Mm-hmm. They had like a kind of spiritual understanding. But then white man came, us, and we started chopping down trees. We started building roads, and we started polluting. I can see why they would be pissed, right? Us, you know. What's that in the chat there? It's amazing what units can learn you. All supernatural paranormal act is fascinating, as you know, especially tomorrow night's guest. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I've
You
had
know?
the privilege to talk to him a few times in regards to a couple of Bigfoot cases. Man knows his stuff and really helped me out with how to look for stuff. So it'll be an interesting conversation tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to hearing about some of these Bigfoot cases. It's very intriguing. The best story I heard about Bigfoot, and it was that David Paulides actually was talking about it. It was the David Paulides missing 411, and it was about the little boy that went missing, but he was found alive. Did you ever hear that one, Dakota?
Yeah, number of times you've talked about it.
I mean, for the people in the chat, this is the short version, so go and listen to David Paulides. The little boy got lost, separated from his family. Those searched those woods, they searched and searched. The National Guard could not find nothing. Right? Next day, they found the little boy sitting in a log near the car park. Now, bear in mind, they've already searched everywhere. And they asked the little boy, how did you? And he says, the big hairy man picked me up and brought me out of the woods. And they actually did a drawing of it, and it looks like a Bigfoot. So I know there's different like sects, say like, what do you call it, Bigfoot? There's the ones that are like very primitive, and then there's the ones that are intelligent. I think the intelligent one found that boy and brought him home.
Well, there's a couple different ways about it.
Yeah.
When you look at apes, they have their own tribes. They have warring tribes all the time.
Yes.
And I'm using that because it's the closest reference that we have to what kind of behaviors we can expect out of Sasquatch, if it is in fact some kind of unidentified ape. That's my train of logic here. They who go to wars, there's varieties that tend to be more savage. There's also, as far as in the case of the little boy, there's also been reports of animals who have taken in young of completely different species.
Yes.
There's a video that I saw floating around on Facebook where a mother duck apparently helped raise a baby crocodile. And all of a sudden you see the crocodile curling in with a nest, with the mother duck in their nest of ducklings.
Did you see that video last week that was released? I don't know if anybody in the chat's seen it, and I found it fascinating. It was TikTok, I think it was. There was a storm drain, and it was somebody dragged up a night vision camera, one of those game cameras, and there's a fox comes trotting along, and it goes into the storm drain, but then it comes back. And then all of a sudden, there's like what kind of animal was it? What do you call them? You get them in America. Oh, they're common.
Another video you're talking about.
And it was as if it was showing this other animal where to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was a raccoon. That's what it was. It was the fox come through the pipe, and it was like kept looking around the corner, and it went back in. It turned around, it came back. It looked around the corner, and a raccoon came out, and they sniffed each other, and then it took it through the pipe. It's as if they were communicating. That's fascinating because it makes you wonder: can other animals actually communicate with each other? Because if you go down that road, then they're like really intelligent, and then you think to yourself, people shoot them, and how could that would just be? You see the kind of book that you're opening up here, can of worms.
It's not really that much of a can of worms to anybody who's been a pet to multiple different animals at once.
Yeah.
You see it in your own house that animals of different species somehow talk to each other.
Yeah. But
it's a human concept of this divisiveness. That just because we look different, we got to treat that something as different or lesser or as a threat. Yes, there's animals that kill each other all the time, but that's humans that think that we're all assholes to one another.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you wonder, like, humans, it just makes you wonder how this is possible. Because you've always been taught at school, and it's always been this kind of way that animals are kind of stupid, and they don't ken this and they don't ken that, and yeah, it's all right to shoot them and eat them for your dinner kind of stuff. But then you think when you see something like this, you think to yourself, oh my God, they're aware, they're self-aware, they're communicating with even different species, they're helping each other out just like we would do. And then it makes you think to yourself, oh my God, that's just, it's hard to explain.
It's
Was
hard
that
to
Stuart
explain
McDonald?
unless you go to see it yourself.
There's Stuart McDonald.
Oh yeah, there's
There's a video on YouTube of dogs saving a child from going into a pond on YouTube. Yeah.
there's a story out of Africa where a herd of male lions saved a young girl from sex traffickers.
Yeah.
And they kept an eye on her, stood guard around her until appropriate authorities could help the girl get back to her family. How the hell would the lions know about that? But then again, there's also stories of like tigers purposely getting shot by hunters but not killed, but then purposely tracking down that specific hunter to kill him.
What I'm saying is it changes the way you think about animals. You see the cows in the fields and you know that they're destined for either milk or meat. Right? You know that's what they're destined. But then you see a cow communicating, like say another cow, and you see something like that fox and that raccoon, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to eat meat again. I mean, it's actually frightening. It makes you wonder what's not been discovered yet with animals.
You have to say that because of climate change and human intervention, there's been several different species of animals completely popping up out of the blue. Not that they haven't been laying dormant, it's just that they're literally brand new species emerging.
Did you see that? The other day, what they found in New Zealand? It was a thought to be extinct bumblebee that was meant to have been extinct like maybe 400 years ago. They found it. They found a full hive of them. And they're like, I think anything's possible, especially now that the technology, I mean, let's face it, they're going to develop something sooner or later so as you can understand your dog. They're going to do it. And it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time, you know?
You know, we were kind of dipping in a little bit into the ET side of things. So there's stories of certain extraterrestrials, I believe it was the Anunnaki species, where they used to have full telepathic abilities, full what we would consider psychic abilities, to be able to understand nature, understand animals. But over time, because of their weight, they started losing it and tried to replace those abilities with technology.
Yeah.
Who's to say we're not following the same road? We're allegedly Anunnaki descendant. Children have a nasty habit of ending up acting like their parents.
I mean, if you think about it too, about this, right? People cut down trees all the time, right? But people don't realize that trees are life forms. Plants are life forms. I think the entire planet's connected to everything that's on it. And I think what's happening now, especially in the world, look at Australia, did you see all the floods there? I mean, I think things are changing because of us humans, because I think us humans we've been naughty on this world. I mean, let's face it, we're burning oil and we're leaving our plastic everywhere. And do you know that every human has now got microplastics inside them?
I saw that study. It said 17 out of the 22 were studied had microplastics in their bloodstream.
Yeah. And you think of the people that live next to fishing areas where all they do is eat fish. Those fish are in the sea eating other fish that have ate microplastics. What's that?
Microplastics don't go away in the food chain, people. It goes right into whatever animal eats the smaller animal.
Yeah. It's that Stuart McDonald, The Matrix. You have it. Do you know something? That's a guest that we need to get on. We need to get a
Keanu
guest
Reeves, you
on.
mean?
Oh, Keanu Reeves would be awesome. I think we should get Keanu Reeves on. But we should get a guest on that knows all about the think that the Earth and everything is a simulation.
Actually, there's a couple of things that brings up. Well, first of all, I was also wanting to say, sir, he also made a comment about being a hunter and feels that that's the right way to feed his family. When it comes to hunting animals and like that, actually having to go out for your food instead of just going to the nearest store, it makes you develop a level of respect for nature.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, obviously. And
I mean,
you want to know the quickest way to piss off a vegan?
What?
Tell them plants actually scream when you cut them. They technically do. They release a pheromone to try to warn nearby plants that, hey, something's attacking us.
I always admire hunters and stuff like that, and I'll tell you why. Humans, us people that live in houses and towns and cities and villages, we'll go to the local supermarket and we'll pick up a chicken wrapped in plastic, or our sausages wrapped in plastic, or our beef burgers wrapped in plastic, right? Whereas a hunter will go out and they'll kill the deer, right? But they'll use 98% of that deer.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They'll use this. They'll use the skin, the hide. They'll use every part of it, except for obviously certain organs. And
even then, we go back to like indigenous cultures. They tried to find uses for every part of the animal, even the internal organs that we would get too gross to touch.
Yeah. So Dakota, we've got 4 minutes left of the show. Do you have any announcements you want to make now, or do you want to do that tomorrow night, or any news?
Well, for those of you who have been wanting to see more about the documentary, I did just get word from Kickstarter that we're looking on good, so that is going to be launching here very soon. The website is also in production, and why did my EMF just go off when I said that?
The what?
I was talking about just finished with the Kickstarter, and my EMF spiked up.
It's happening again.
Like they're wanting us to happen.
Wait a minute. I'm going to ask the spirits of the aliens, are we going to be successful with this documentary? No, obviously no. You ask it and see what happens.
Good.
We're
also saying with Matrix, there was a second part of that. There is an individual I know of that maybe willing to come on now that we got a bigger audience, but I don't want to spoil that. But were you familiar with the Princeton incident?
Look, your EMF.
So I'll try it. Okay. But answer the question. Were you familiar with the Princeton incident?
I think so. I don't know.
All right. Researchers at Princeton University had a series of random number generators placed all over the world.
Right.
It was like a 1 in a billion shot that these things would start showing the same numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, one day, back in 2001, to give you a hint of what date it was, these start showing the same numbers all around the world, and they're not supposed to be able to do that. Now, anybody who's had set up a website password, stuff like that, you dealt with a random number generator. They're that common. But they're also very random and should not do that. Guess what was happening when that anomaly took place? Within about a 15-minute time span.
This is 2009-11.
The first plane struck.
That's very interesting. That I find that the Matrix is. Are we in a different reality? I know we've not got long left, but there was a test done. There was a test done that I watched, and I found it fascinating. They fired this laser down this hallway kind of thing, and when the person watched it, it broke into two, like it should, right? But when they videoed it, and the person wasn't there, right, the laser just kept going straight ahead.
the particular, I know what experiment you're talking about. What they found with that with light photons is normally they fire out, it's kind of like balls of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when observed, that's when they take on the wave action.
Yeah.
Perception alters reality, and I know it does kind of seem like we're kind of veering off track here, but there's
Yeah.
a connection that may explain some of the things with cryptozoology. There's also stories of like tulpas, thought forms, things that originally started out as thoughts or ideas taking on physical form because enough energy, enough thought, enough belief was put into them. They literally took form.
Yeah.
They say that some of the gods from ancient cultures were formed like that. Who's to say that some of these animals weren't imaginary at one point, became to life?
Yeah. See, who's to say our galaxy and our universe wasn't like that at one point? Until some entity.
The universe as we know it isn't merely a formation of someone's mind. Because when you think about it, several structures that have been observed in the known universe look awful identical to structures inside of our body.
Yes.
The potentials are endless. So you don't exactly want to discount entirely the possibilities out there.
No.
See?
We'll do a live one night, and we'll get a guest on to talk about this, because I think it's a subject that we should go into.
Yeah, there is someone I do have in mind. He may come on now that we're getting much bigger audience. I mean,
Yeah.
I told you the numbers. We're up to almost 20,000 downloads on the podcast side alone.
I know, guys. This is amazing. We don't get that many views on YouTube, right? But do you know how many views we get on Amazon and Spotify? We get over 20,000 downloads. I mean, that's just crazy. When Dakota first told me, my eyes just about popped out and hot off my specs and went back in again.
Because
I thought it was
just like,
I can since in the last few months we've went up to on the podcast side of stuff, the Lost Magics, then a Quartz, and this has went up to 20, and the Contacts has went up to over 20,000 downloads for Bald Bonkers. YouTube, we don't get many views. We don't get many views on YouTube, but we've on Spotify and that Amazon, we're getting thousands and thousands each week.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't, you know. What's that? Drew's Paranormal Vlog. Chris, put up your title. Huh? What?
What title?
What title? What do you mean?
Exactly. What title?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh well.
But anyway, I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked about the fact that we're nearly over 22,000. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I know, and it kind of feels like we're bragging a little bit, but honestly, it is something that we should put out, because there's a lot of people who had doubts about us, mostly because of their own personal emotions towards us when we first started.
Yes, I know.
But
I know.
Here's the thing. The documentary, with everybody who's agreed to come on about it, we're looking at a startup audience of over 100,000 people. With how many destinations we stream out to?
Yeah, and then
we have a potential reach of 5 million.
5 million.
And with the video subscriptions, with the next couple moves I'm about to make, we can probably add about another 90,000.
Yep, guys.
Onward and upward.
Yes. So, what would Drew mean my CEO? Yes, and Dakota, why don't you tell them all about your CEO, why you've got that?
Should we?
I think you should, I think you should. You should.
So, for those of you who don't know, on the 31st of March, Bald and Bonkers Network is now officially an LLC. Now, because this guy has expressed that he doesn't want to take on managerial duties, it's all falling under me.
Yes.
Now,
It's
he may help cover if I have to take an extended leave of absence, if I get like sick or I have to go somewhere for another project.
yeah.
But I'm the big
Basically,
dog.
yes. People that work, well, no, we're in this section, Bald and Bonkers. I'm not in charge. Dakota is. Please know that. And it's my wishes to stay this way. My title is Chris. Chris, that's my title. And I'm happy. And I'm really happy about that. Yes, I do stuff that you don't see. Right? Yes, I may stand in from time to time for Dakota. But I'm happy doing my shows, you know. I do, Dakota. But he's the boss. He's the boss. There's him there. So if you want to shout at anyone in or send them bad harassing emails, that's who you send them to.
Oh, gee, thanks, Chris. No, honestly, I did make the offer to put him down as a legal partner. I mean, he's been there since the beginning. He helped,
Yes.
give me the nudge to go down this route. So I figured,
Look, I'm still one of, look, guys, this is what you need to know. I'm still one of the founders of Bald and Bonkers. I'm still associated with it. It's just I don't do what Dakota does. That's why he's got CEO. I could have had that, but I didn't want that. And I'm happy the way I am, you know. And I'll still have my shows and I'll still have other things. I'll still be there. I might have a few privileges that the normal members don't have.
You're not getting the private jet by yourself.
Come on, Drew and the rest of the team don't mind taking coach.
You see what he's doing to y'all? I see Smith family, they're popping in from the Twitch. I see Drew. Sherry, do you see what he's trying to do to y'all? I'm trying to help everybody grow. He's the one trying to hog up all the things.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I helped Dakota invent this, you know. I'm still one of the founders, you know, the channel and stuff like that. I get certain privileges. Well, it's when what a special lives we have in the future, you know, meetings. You get normal biscuits and I get dark chocolate ones, you know. I get the donuts, you don't get any. You know, this is the kind of thing, you know. This is it's privileges because I'm one of the founders, you know. I like that. I like being known as one of the founders, you know. It makes me feel special. But plus I don't really need to do that much because he does it all.
Honestly, dude, I'm not saying this to poke fun. How much of what we've been doing lately would you have known was possible had it not been for me sneaking around behind the scenes?
Very true. Very true, ladies and gentlemen, and all the thousands of people that listen to me in the podcast, you know. Dakota, he's the guy. But if you have any hate mail, send it to him, not me, because I just do the shows.
Oh, God.
You could look,
if
guys,
anybody actually responds to that.
Look, guys, I still have a part to play in this. I've still a part in it. I still have some privileges, but we'll not go into that. There you go.
All right.
You know?
You started stroking your ego there, good sir?
What's that?
Was that supposed to be like a Fabio hair flip?
That was okay.
Maybe you should, on your next little Amazon binge, get yourself a wig if you're going to be doing that.
Hello. Welcome to Saturday Night Live. What do you think? I'm practicing that. I think that's quite good.
Really? You want to start trying to talk about that? Okay, Wooly. What?
Okay, Wooly. Said, where do we send it?
See, this is why we
I can
want
give
everybody
Dakota's
to go live
personal.
shows. This is a lot more fun.
I can personally give you Dakota's personal email if you want, you know. And
No
all
one
the hate
what?
mail, all the hate mail, and all the bad things that you want to say about him, just email him. You know, he's here, and you know, Smith Family Paranormal. You know, see,
No, what are you screaming no at for, Chad and Linda?
what?
Your show's about to
Yeah.
get bounced out a little further too. Don't
I know.
worry, we love you guys too.
Look, all I'm going to say is this: when we're famous, you'll get to see us now and again. I think that's fair. I'm only joking, guys. I'm only joking. Look at Dakota. You got to love this guy, man. Okay, that's
And
different.
you wonder why your contract isn't going to end up like 20 pages long.
No to the wag, no to the wag, Dakota.
Not to the wig.
Oh, there's
we
many
like better balls.
amazing. Before we go, guys, there's some amazing stuff coming to Bald and Bonkers soon. And honestly, you won't believe it. You won't believe what Dakota's done. Because if I'd been in charge, we'd probably be still sitting here. I don't know. I'm terrible, you know.
You know, here, let me just put it this way. I've been involved with paranormal investigation for almost 11 years now. Apparently, right as we're hitting the 6-month anniversary, is going to be my 11-year anniversary. I didn't realize that. Anyway, Chris and I have some certain guests we are at least in talks with. I should put it that way. Nothing set in stone. That's why we're not saying anything.
Yeah, we can't tell you. It's a secret.
But these guests would be on our personal wish list to meet in person one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for those of you who really love the accents, May 14th is going to be your date.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially May 14th. That day's got to be absolutely amazing. I mean, I never thought in my life I would get to interview somebody like that.
No, it's like all because of Philip Mantle. We got to give him a shout out. He's
Philip Mantle.
He does the UFO Flying Press. He publishes books, and when he came on to the show, he asked if he could pimp us out to help his authors get publicized. We of course said yes, because that makes less work on our part.
Yeah.
And now he hooked us up with someone we always wanted to meet. And I know he's probably watching right now, so hi.
Yeah. I'm looking
Apparently
forward.
everybody we've been talking to started checking us out to see whether or not we're actually worth a damn.
You know, we're getting professional. Look, I've got the Bald and Bonkers t-shirt and everything.
Oh God, you started grabbing your chest like you were getting breast implants.
Oh, what? What do you mean? This is why, guys, I know we've got over 22,000 views on the podcast side, guys, but you need to come on to YouTube. I know there's no many views on here, but you get to watch this. You get to watch two mad idiots, you know?
I don't know. I was like, I find doing the live shows to be a lot more fun because we get to talk, we get to interact with our audience, and maybe they have questions for us that someone on the podcast side will want to ask.
Yeah.
But they may not exactly be paying attention on how to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
So your email idea may not be a bad idea.
Yes. I mean, send all your hate mail and everything to go here. That's why I think that's the best way you go.
So
I'm looking forward to the meeting with all our fellow team members soon.
wait a minute, what the? Oh my God, this is starting to get X-rated. So we may need to cut off this show here soon.
What's that? What's that? What's that? What's Drew's paranormal vlog saying there? That's terrible.
For everybody who's on the secondary video channels who doesn't get to see this as a live show, so you know what the heck we're looking at.
I mean, honestly, see if we had to paint a red dot on top of my head there and a red dot on top of your head there and get really close together.
Yeah, we would be looking like something out of Dolly Parton.
Yeah. You know, I just can't believe you did that, Drew. That's terrible.
Well, you're the one that was going like this.
It's my t-shirt, man. It's my t-shirt.
You got to admit that did turn out pretty good.
I don't.
I was expecting you to screw that up.
I think it's a great T-shirt. You know.
Yeah, I'll admit it did turn out pretty good. So
Wait
I'll
to
give
see
you
the
credit.
other one that I've ordered. You know.
Oh yeah. All right,
Yeah.
you know, we not.
Yeah.
Wait a sec.
What?
We haven't revealed next week's guest, and I know you're excited for that
Oh.
one.
Good to
Chris's
tell.
girlfriend is going to be joining. I'm just kidding. The lovely Elena Denan will be coming back on the 16th to talk. She may even join us for the documentary, so that woman
Yes.
brings in a crowd.
Elena.
Scotty misses you.
What's that? What did you say there?
Scotty misses you, Elena.
Yes. I don't know. Just
Well,
a missed.
thank God she finds us funny.
Of course, we're funny. We're mad. I mean, look. There's Drew's paranormal vlogs. Man, Willie. Hello, Willie. Hello,
Oh, is that who that is?
You know, say hello, Willie. Say that Dakota for him. Say hey,
Hello,
Willie.
Willie. Hello, you big woolly man. Oh, God.
Willie, man.
Baby.
Right. I think it's time we went to our bed now, ladies and gentlemen. So, bedtime is approaching. May you all sleep, and may the
Tomorrow.
spirits and goblins visit you all through the night.
Don't have too much fun. That's how I ended up with 2 kids from the stars.
Well, it's honestly, I just
Thank
don't
God
know.
they
And
got
guys,
their mother's book.
I just want to say this before we go off. Thank you for everybody in the podcast that's been listening to get us all those thousands of views. I mean, it's probably got to be up to about 30,000 by next week, but you know. Smith Family Paranormal. I'm out of here. That's how you. That's terrible.
Oh,
That's
God.
terrible.
Okay, that is how we know it's Chad. That man's got no personality.
Let's go, guys. Have a brilliant night. Catch you all later. And don't let the bed bugs bite. And if they send me Dakota via email.
We're going to have to talk about that young man.
Ooh.